conventional type of juicing, where you take a fruit and you extract the juice from the fruit, and you throw away about 75% of that healthy fiber in the garbage. But with this machine, we promote health, convenience, and cost effectiveness. So we're going to utilize that fiber in the juice with the machine. So anytime you're doing any juicing at home, it's actually best to use seeded grapes or the globe grapes from here at Costco. Reason being, if you were to go to any health food and nutrition store, you'd see a grape seed oil extract. It's called proanthocyanins. It's actually one of the world's most powerful health antioxidants. Places like GNC carry a small vial of that for about $50. You can create that for yourself every day by using this machine in your home. Strawberries are high in allegic acid, which is a known cancer fighter. But the stems of those strawberries contain chlorophyll. That's a natural enzyme that boosts and builds your immune system. As long as you use a good veggie wash, these are safe to throw in there whole. And then typically when we eat pineapple, we cut the core out, right? Because it's tough, it's chewy, but that's where all the fiber's located. Lack of fiber leads to diseases like diverticulitis or colon cancer, or you'd end up taking a supplement like Citrusil or Metamucil. And then whenever doing a melon, like a honeydew, watermelon, or cantaloupe, you want to leave those seeds. Those seeds are high in fiber, but when cracked open, actually contain protein. Just like flaxseed. Flaxseed's also high in omega-3 and omega-6. We'll put some whole flaxseed in there. And then kiwi skins actually contain flavonoids. Those are cancer-fighting agents. So you want to throw the kiwis with the skin, and then kiwis themselves are actually high in vitamin C. And especially important for women, you want to use a banana. Women's bodies burn through potassium and calcium at twice the rate men do, which is why you're more susceptible to bone diseases like osteoporosis. And then anytime I'm making a whole juice at home, whether it's a fruit or a vegetable juice, I always include the building block of nutrition, spinach. It's loaded in vitamins A through K, rich in iron and fiber, just a handful and they'll do. Now at home, you can use frozen berries or frozen bananas to make your juices cold. For my demonstration today, I'm going to use ice. A normal cheap blender that most people have at home has a motor that's only about the size of my pinky. It's only 1/4 to 1/2 horsepower. If you were to start it loaded with this many ingredients, especially if it was frozen or heavy, it would start smoking or making funny noises. Some more expensive machines out there actually have a tool you have to press down through the center repeatedly just to get it to blend properly. With this machine, there's absolutely none of that. Again, for the demonstration, I'm going to use ice. But I also use ice to show you something. Would you ever take any machine you've ever seen before loaded with that many ingredients and start it with the lid off? Absolutely not, right? Well, the reason why you wouldn't is from the most expensive to the cheapest machines, they all use the same exact technology. They use a cross-pattern blade. That blade acts as a fan. It shoots the ingredients upward and away from the blade. With the lid on, it chases the ingredients around the inside of the round jar, not blending it properly. We eliminate that. With a patented square jar and a patented single wingtip blade design, this is a commercial blending unit. It actually pulls the food towards the blade with force, creating a vortex like a tornado, and it's a dull blade. So if you're hand drying it or have any children in the house, no worries about cutting your finger with this machine. Now if you look on the front, you'll notice there's no knobs, no dials, no switches. It's a smooth surface, easy to clean, and it's pre-programmed for your convenience. Now this is the whole juice we're making, so I'll go ahead and hit the whole juice button for us. And you'll notice that it grabs and pulls the ingredients down towards the blade rather than pushes it away. This is a peak 3-horsepower machine, 28,000 revolutions per minute. At max speed, that blade's moving at almost 300 miles per hour on the inside of that jar. At that speed, using the friction of the blade, you can take raw vegetables like this, you can cook it into a hot soup in just 90 seconds. But you don't want to cook your juice, right? So if you look on the front of the machine, you'll notice the whole juice cycle is running, and there's a timer counting down telling you how much time is left in the cycle. This machine will automatically speed itself up, slow itself down, and shut itself off when it's completed with the cycle. If you have to leave the machine for any reason, to tend to a child, brush your teeth, answer a phone, or get ready for work, you'll never have to be concerned with overdoing your recipe. This machine will take care of itself each and every time, and it will shut itself down when it's completed with the cycle. Now the science behind this type of juicing is called micronization. What you're doing is you're breaking down the cell walls of a whole fruit or whole vegetable so you can utilize the stems, the seeds, the skins, and the fibers that you normally throw away with the traditional juicer. And what's the worst part of any small appliance after using it? Cleaning it, right? This is dishwasher safe and BPA free, but it's also stamped by the National Sanitation Foundation as a self-cleaning jar. It will not harbor bacteria. It's the only jar on the residential market that can claim that. Just enough water to cover the blade and a single drop of dish soap is all it takes to truly clean this machine. And I'm going to use the pulse key. It's the food processor key, the same key you use to make a chunky salsa or bread into breadcrumbs. I'm going to hold it for 5 seconds. It's going to clean the blade, the lid, and the jar. This machine was designed specifically with restaurant owners in mind. You could go from making something as strong as a coffee or a beet juice to an ice cream, and you won't transfer any color, taste, or odor in 5 seconds. Just rinse and soak. Pretty simple, right? And because this is the first year that our commercial unit has been available for residential sales, we include a recipe book with over 300 recipes, most of which are from the restaurants that use our machines. On page 168 is this tortilla soup recipe. Feel free to take a look if you'd like. It's on page 168. Now that recipe calls for chicken bouillon. I substituted the chicken bouillon with an avocado. Avocado is a slow-burning and essential fat will give you energy throughout the day. And it does call for 2 cups of hot water. The hot water mixed with the cool vegetables from my cooler takes it to right around 82 degrees. That's going to change drastically in the next 90 seconds using the friction of the blade to heat the soup. It's going to take it from right around 82 to just about 106 degrees. It's another pre-programmed button on the front. It's the soup syrup fondue button here in the center. I'll hit that and we'll get that one going. Now again, this is a whole fruit juice. I utilize the stem, the seed, the skin, and the fiber that you normally throw away with the traditional juicer. With a traditional juicer, take about a 5-gallon bucket worth of fruits or vegetables to yield this much juice, because you extract all those fibers and you throw them in the garbage. If you were to go to a local juice shop around town, you'd see a juice similar to this sold with wheatgrass or bee pollen for $5 to $7. If you look behind the counter, you're going to see our jar or our machine making the juice for you. You can create this for yourself every day by owning this machine in your home. How are you? There you go. You're welcome. If you look at the height of the machine, Blendtec specifically designed it at 15 inches tall because the standard kitchen cabinet is 18 inches tall. Studies show that if you have to pull it out of the pantry to use it and then put it away when you're done, you're less likely to use it. We want you to use this machine every single day, so we designed it in 3 different colors to match your kitchen appliances and kitchen decor. Now, a normal small can of soup has a lot of MSG and a lot of sodium. For the same price of that little tiny can of soup, you can get over a half gallon of this extremely nutritious raw vegetable soup. So not only is it healthy, it's also very cost effective as well. And that was a 90-second cycle using the friction of the blade to take those raw vegetables, cook them into a hot soup. You'll see that your soup is now piping hot. Now the recipe calls for tortilla chips as a tortilla soup. At home, using the same exact method, you could add cooked chicken, cooked beef, pinto beans, black beans, tofu, or corn. Just throw those ingredients in after the soup's been blended, and use the full speed to break it up inside to give you a chunky consistency. So I made you a juice for breakfast, a soup for dinner. What comes next? An ice cream for dessert, right? Ice cream is actually normally one of the last meals of the day that we eat. Ben & Jerry's and Haagen-Dazs is delicious, but if you look at the back of the carton, it has about 1/4 of a cup for a serving size because it's loaded with fats and sugars. So I'll show you guys an ice cream today you won't feel guilty for eating. Now this is tomatoes, onions, carrots, a sliver of jalapeno, sprig of cilantro, chunk of cheddar cheese, dash of taco seasoning, garlic, salt and pepper, avocado, and tortilla chip. This is a raw vegetable soup. If I would have ran that blending cycle twice, it would have barely boiled the soup, but you don't want to do that because then you'll denature the healthy enzymes of the vegetables. So this is inexpensive to make, extremely nutritious, and tastes great when it's fresh. There you go. You're welcome. Sir, do you want one? You're welcome. Here you go, you're welcome. Now the ice cream recipe was originally a strawberry ice cream, but I'm going to substitute every ingredient in that recipe to show you how easy it is to make recipe substitutions with this machine. That recipe originally called for milk. I'm going to substitute it with almond milk instead. I made it in the machine today. 1 cup of almonds, 4 cups of water. There's actually a milk substitution guide on page 76. You can make a rice milk, soy milk, any kind of nut milk, seed milk, or oat milk that you want to make. It takes less than 90 seconds to do so. Then that recipe calls for molasses as a sweetener. I'm going to substitute that with an agave nectar. Agave nectar is lower in the glycemic scale, lower than sugar or honey. They claim to be diabetic friendly, so it shouldn't spike your blood sugar. And then that recipe calls for vanilla instant pudding. We use that as a thickening agent. I'm going to substitute that with a vanilla protein powder. I do that to show you at any time. You can substitute a powder for a powder, milk for a milk, syrup for a syrup, and the consistency will come out the same. That way you can make your ice creams any way you like. And like I said, this was originally a strawberry ice cream, but I'm going to substitute the strawberries for my secret ingredient. spinach. Loaded in vitamins A through K, rich in iron and fiber. Great way to get the kids to eat their veggies. Also great to eat before you go to bed at night. You get all those essential nutrients before you go to sleep. I like to blend up the contents before I add the ice. I do that by going to the manual speed key, taking the speed level 3 on the LCD. Let it run for 10 or 15 seconds, but I also do that to show you something. But any time you like the consistency of what you see inside the jar, any button on the bottom row is an off switch. Hit any button on the bottom, it'll shut the machine down for you. Now it's going to take 3 cups of ice, and then a 45-second cycle will have a perfect ice cream. Another pre-programmed button on the front, the ice cream frozen yogurt button. Now this is different than the soup cycle. That soup cycle ran at max speed for 90 seconds and used the friction of the blade to cook up the hot soup. This is going to run more like the gears of a car. It's going to start off slow, speed itself up, and slow itself down throughout the cycle to churn those heavy ingredients into a creamy ice cream. At any time, this lid pops off very easily. You can add nuts, berries, candy bars, protein bars, anything you want to make it a chunky ice cream. If you ever put too much ice and you have a plastic table, it'll vibrate just a little bit. I keep asking for granite countertops. They won't send them to me though. And you can see that patented blade at work actually pulling the ice cream down towards the blade. And there's only one way to truly know if your ice cream's done. And that's to hold it over your head just like this. Don't try that at home. Now you can take 4 cups of your favorite grain with this machine and grind it into flour. That's rice into flour, wheat into flour, unpopped kernels of popcorn into corn meal, sugar into powdered sugar, coffee beans into a coffee ground, chili pod into a chili powder. The same jar I use to make my juice is the same jar I use to grind my grains, so no additional purchase. I use white rice as an example because if anybody suffers from celiac disease or prefers a gluten-free diet, white rice flour is expensive and hard to find. This is inexpensive and easy to do. I'm going to use the manual speed key, take it to the highest level, to run for an automatic 50 seconds, and we'll have a perfect flour for cooking and baking. That was a 50-second cycle. You'll see after 50 seconds you have a perfect flour for cooking and baking. You can actually run that cycle twice to create a pastry flour, so no sifting. Feel free to check the consistency of that if you'd like. It's a rice flour. It's going to feel a little starchier than a wheat flour. Wheat grinds up the exact same way. Now Costco's asked me to come in here and give about a 10-minute demonstration to show you a few functions of the machine. We've been in business for over 30 years. We're in 70% of commercial businesses across America, like Baskin-Robbins, Wolfgang Puck, Red Robin. If you were to go to any wholesaler or retailer, the cost for the machine between $400 and $450 plus shipping. You're only going to get a 3-year warranty. For Costco members only, during the roadshow, you get the lowest price, $379. Plus, you get the extended warranty. I'll hand that out in just a second, bud. Plus, you get the extended warranty. You get a 7-year unconditional guarantee from top to bottom. Any issues whatsoever for 7 years, we replace it for free. No questions asked. Colors come in red, black, and white. The recipe books with over 300 recipes are located inside of the box. Please let me know which color of blender you'd like. I'll supply you with a box. This will be the best spinach ice cream you've ever had. Let me know if you guys have any more questions.